and welcome to Grossly Competent, the learning, development, and adulting podcast that doesn't claim to be pretty, but we will happily pretend to be slightly competent. I'm your host, Steve Counsel, and I'm joined by my co-host, the personification of the gag reflex, Mr. Patrick Ailshire.
Well, hello, Mr. Counsel, and hello to all of our amazing listeners. Yes, I am Patrick, and with me is Steve, keeping the word competent aspirational.
As I very much do. Patrick, can you, honest to goodness, believe we are on episode 20?
Can't believe we haven't been canceled yet.
That's coming up. But genuinely, that means you and we've been bantering and spewing words of wisdom. That's fair, right? For over, yeah, I know, right? Jury's out. But for over 20 hours. Like, that's wild to me. So I assume we can also hear from our 20th sponsor, right? Who do we have in the chamber this week?
This is a pretty good one, and it is quite relevant to wherever you are across the good old US of A, and maybe worldwide. I don't know. I'm just paying attention to the United States of America at the moment. But
how very American of you.
Today's episode is brought to you by aggressively cold weather. The kind of cold that doesn't just hurt. It feels personal. This is the cold that turns your face into a liability, your car into a science experiment, and your optimism into vapor. Aggressively cold weather doesn't care how prepared you think you are. It will find the one spot your coat fails and focus exclusively on that. Aggressively cold weather, because winter isn't a season. It's a warning.
Wow. Well, thanks, big, aggressively cold weather, excuse me. Holy smokes, you're not kidding. This is like exactly what's going on right now. As a matter of fact, folks, right now, as we speak, Patrick and we are in Southeast Wisconsin. I don't know if you can tell by our smooth, sultry, nasally voices. Mine's especially bad right now because my entire house has been sick. That's fine. But tomorrow, a lot of the school districts in the area are shutting down because temperatures are going to hit at or above minus 35. So for any of you out there in nice, reasonably warm climates, I want you to sincerely think about that for just a smidge. Negative 35 degrees Fahrenheit. That is some wildly cold temperatures. So,
and I will say that by the time this episode comes out, I do hope that everyone is okay. We're getting blasted with the Arctic freeze essentially, but the whole the Midwest and then even down south, they're going to be getting some crazy ice storms, and they're not going to be prepared for it because they don't have the equipment, the power grids. They don't have the snow plows. So hopefully everything is okay with you all when you're listening to us. And
I agree with that sentiment. Absolutely. That our states to the south of us don't typically have the infrastructure to handle that kind of cold or the snow or the removal or anything like that. We definitely hope everything goes well for you folks. And next week, when you're listening to this, hopefully that's just a bygone memory of, wow, that really, really sucked.
Yeah.
So, yikes.
So, Steve.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you. You sent me a text earlier this week and said, "Hey, I got a hell of a idea for our topic this week, and I'd like to hear what your thoughts are."
All right, let's do this then. So I'm not sure how everybody out there has been doing, or Patrick, how you have been, but my household has been just marred with sickness the last couple of weeks, and it's not been fun. But as part of that, I have taken the full-on responsibility of using my recuperation time to do what every American adult does best, and that is doom scrolling on our phones to aimlessly lull ourselves to sleep. But in all sincerity, I was putzing on Reddit, and just like, because you can only watch so much TV or something, right? At least I can to some level. But I like putzing on Reddit because I can look at things and read different articles or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And in between like bouts of sleep and just trying to rest up as much as I can, I definitely went down some very interesting rabbit holes. And with that, I want to pose a question to you, good sir. And it is going to be weird.
Okay, I'd like to hear it.
All right. Can you voluntarily make a roar or hum sound in your ears? Like you can hear it, but nobody else can.
I don't even know what to say to that. I don't. How? What? Wait, what? How does that even work? I can make a humming noise and I can hear it in my ear, but that's not what you're saying.
No, like, so you're saying a humming noise, like with like your vocal cords, like, yeah, like that, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about this actual thing where you tense a specific muscle in your head and you create a kind of a thrumming roar sound in your ears.
Oh,
I'm assuming the answer is no.
I'm trying to figure out how I would do that.
That's a great question. So it is called, and I'm going to probably butcher the hell out of what this is called. But so if we have like a medical expert or somebody that listens, but if we do, please correct me on how to pronounce this. But it is called palatal myoclonus. And truth be told, I've always been able to do this. And I thought that it was totally normal that everybody could do this. Okay. It apparently is far more obscure than I realized. I fell down a rabbit hole. When I say fell down a rabbit hole, I was perusing my world of Reddit, and somewhere on there was like, tell me your like stupid human skill or whatever. And somebody mentioned I can make a roar with my ears that only I can hear. I'm like, oh my God.
That is wild.
I can do that too. It's kind of like, you know how some people can like flex their pec muscles?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Like not everybody can, apparently. I didn't know that either. But I just thought that was interesting. So apparently the evolutionary reason behind this, or the intent, I guess, is that when you're in a very loud environment, you can activate this ability and it will actually muffle the loud noises and protect your hearing. And the funny thing is, when I read that, I was like, I absolutely do that. When I am at like a loud concert or I'm somewhere that's just like loud noises everywhere, I will mindfully go, okay, and like shut it down. And like I can hear, it just sounds like I have earmuffs on. It's really weird.
I feel like if you got together
I feel like you're screwing with me.
I feel like if you got together with other palatal myoclonuses, that you would all get together and just sit there in silence, listening to yourself hum, your ears hum.
This is pretty great, right?
You hear that? Nope, I can hear mine though.
I don't hear that.
What's the tone or the pitch of yours? Is it high? Yeah. Like, do you have a falsetto humming?
That's an interesting thing. Is that is something that's universally accepted, that it is like this dull roar, just like a.
That but is it's so
not invasive or anything. Like I'm doing it right now. Like, it's super weird. I know, but I'm curious if any listeners out there go, oh my gosh, you can do that too? Or, oh, so not only are you freakish in facial, you're freakish in so many other ways.
Did it somehow start when you were in your early 20s after a night out? Maybe you got pushed a little harder than I did. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. No, it's one of those things that I've just always been able to do it. And I don't know. And it's funny you said earlier about like, I don't even know how you would do it. I don't know how to like explain how I do it. I just,
Okay.
it's like I clench a certain like, oh, I bite down in this. No, I just do it. I don't know. Bizarre. Wild. So with that, Mr. Patrick, do you have any unique, interesting, perhaps strange talents or skills that you've maybe always thought were like incredibly common or normal, and then you find out are exactly the opposite?
Well, aside from my ability to clear the room with my hideous appearance,
I knew you were going to say something like that.
I cannot actually think of anything that I can do that others cannot. But
mediocrity at its finest. That's great.
But Steve, since I have become so used to sharing embarrassing stories about myself on here for the whole world to hear, I will share a couple things that I cannot do, which a majority of people can do.
Okay.
I, as a 42-year-old male, I do not have the skills to wink.
Wait, no. What?
I can kind of do it on one side, and I'm going to show you, and you're going to laugh, but like that's not good because I have to like make a note, like a facial expression. But the right side is not happening, dude. There's no the right side. No. I can't even like feel that. But also I can't blow a bubble with my gum.
Oh, what? Really?
But in my defense, I haven't been able to chew gum in like 10 years because I have the old TMJ lockjaw, and they don't recommend chewing gum because I can make my gums or my jaw sore.
You're not missing out, man. I think gum is overrated.
I feel like, but here's the thing. I want to tell a story about the winking. So I had a joke when I was in my early 20s, and I was like going out on the town, and the joke was that if I saw a attractive woman across the bar, the bartender would be like, hey, this one's on this guy. And instead of winking, I would blink at them, like 2 winks. And they'd be like, close my tab, I'm getting out of here. I know. Why do I do this to myself? I don't do. However, Steve, I know how to snap really well.
Wow.
So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah. No, that's great.
I got you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, God damn it.
I'm having a hard time composing myself. Just envision. Sorry, listeners. You have to be so annoyed.
The fact that they keep coming, the fact that they keep coming back each week, it must be
headed around.
It's going to go on the end of the episode, that's for sure.
Okay. Oh, okay. I am just envisioning you at a bar, and you're in your young 20s, and you're just looking for that special someone. And they eye you, and they go, well, I can settle. And you look at them, and you just double blink at them. And they think, does he have something in his eye? Or is he just that inept? I think I'm going to go somewhere else. End scene. That is fantastic. I also really enjoy the fact that I gave you an out. Like, Patrick, I gave you an out. I was like, you know what? You're not missing out on bubble gum because gum is overrated. And you're like, I know, but let me tell you how I can't blink. Or wink, excuse me, how I can't wink.
Yes.
Oh, that just, that melts my heart. That is so wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing and putting yourself out there. Being vulnerable.
You
really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That is, what a treat. Listeners out there, we just really bare our souls.
You know what? I'm already ashamed of my looks, so I might as well share my talent or lack thereof.
I was going to say, talent, huh? Okay. All right, well, there's that. That's cool.
My mom said I was special.
And she was right. She was correct. Don't ever take that from her. Wow. I'm trying to think, is there something in that kind of realm that I can't do? I can't do like the 2-finger whistle. Like
Okay, yes.
you know, like that.
That one's
I
tough.
can't do a real loud one.
I can do the
Like,
thumb and
or
finger.
whatever, like where you use your fingers.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can do like a normal whistle. Like that one, I cannot do a cartwheel. Never been able to figure out how to do a cartwheel.
Okay.
My attempts as a youngster would usually just consist of me landing on my shoulder in a weird, obscure way. Yeah. I'm like, I have to have my arms out. But nah. So I'll just like face plant it. Yeah, that's probably all I can think of off the top of my head. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I'm not going to respond to those because maybe I can't do those either. But
oh my God,
I can walk really well.
Do you enjoy recess and lunch? You're really good at them.
So when I told that story last week, that was actually my experience.
Yeah. Patrick is just so good.
I said
at
Jimmy,
his recess.
but it was Patrick.
When Patrick's so good at waiting in line and getting his chocolate milk, he's just fantastic. He does so well. Sometimes he even helps the other students. Oh my God. Okay, we could go on and on about this, I feel like. Should we bust into our topic today? Because I gotta tell you, ooh. Yeah.
I'm ready. I am pumped.
Right. All right, let's do this. Okay. So, Patrick, I am just going to be completely honest with you. I'm not entirely sure what this journey of a conversation is going to look like towards the end. I'm going to fire off. I'm just going to start it. But sincerely, folks, if you think that Patrick and I go on really odd tangents, you ain't seen nothing yet. Like, this is going to be crazy, so just folks, strap in, enjoy the ride, and we'll see you on the other side, I suppose.
I might take that first line you said about I have no idea where this conversation is going to go and edit that and put it towards the front of this podcast episode and then just keep repeating it because that's how most of these segments go. So what do you got for us?
Yeah, we could have that be our segue music like the entire time. Like, so I mentioned in my recovery efforts and by the way, the smooth, sultry, nasally voice you hear right now is me on the up and up. Like, so Monday I had no voice. Like I was talking like it was awful. I'm like, holy hell. So the fact that I am amongst the living and talking is testament to the modern medicine era. Anyway, so I was talking about how I was going on like Reddit death spirals and just like checking out different posts and all that kind of stuff. And one I thought was rather interesting was, what is a TV show that got canceled that you are still angry about? And I thought, ooh, yeah. Let's see this. Like, I want to know what other people thought. So before I start diving in way too hard, I need to know, Patrick, do you have any shows like that? Do you have any shows where you got really invested and then, bam, get dunked, we're done making this, and you'll never know what happens?
That's interesting question you posed. And the funny thing is, I'm probably going to think about more shows after the fact. They're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And I'm sure I'll probably Google something later. But when I first read your question on our script, my mind, I don't know where this came out of, but it went straight to this show called Love Monkey that aired on CBS in 2006. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, it was a minute ago. So the show itself, I'm going to read a little bit about this so you kind of have a more of a background.
Mm-hmm.
So the kind of the synopsis was, it starred Tom Cavanaugh, and a 30-something record company executive navigates the singles scene in New York with some help from his buddies and a charming female friend.
Hmm.
Real music stars such as Natasha Bedingfield, John Mellencamp, and Leanne Rimes make guest appearances.
Wow.
So,
Okay. I've never heard of this.
according to I looked it up on Wikipedia too because I kind of wanted a little more of a recap.
Oh,
So, Love
look
Monkey
at
is an
you.
American comedy drama series set in New York City, as I mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
It was based on the book by the same name, written by Kyle Smith. The first episode aired on January 17th, 2006 on CBS, attracting an audience of about 8.6 million viewers. So that's pretty good, right?
Seems like it, yeah.
What happened was they ended up cutting it after 8 episodes. They canceled it, and it just pretty much
just
went
not
away.
Enough viewership or something?
Yeah,
or?
and so I don't know if they said it says by episode 3 it was down to 6.2, and CBS pulled it from its schedule. So,
dang.
What happened was, it looks, from what I recall, they had episodes 1 through 3, and I think it was picked up on VH1 picked it up, and they aired the last like 4 or 5 episodes to make it to that 8 episodes.
So it was CBS?
Yes.
Said, right? CBS. So CBS only ran
the
3
first 3
episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
And I think then the public was like, give us our show. So VH1 picked it up, and from what I recall, just from glancing through this, is that VH1 aired the last like 5 episodes. But I remember being really excited because this was like 2006. We're past we're past Napster at that point. We're probably in probably iTunes, like downloading the $2 songs or whatever.
Yeah, very early in the Apple infancy, like that streaming part. Yeah,
the theme song for the show was called was it by an artist named Teddy Geiger, and he actually had I think he was like a one-hit wonder. He had a song called "For You I Will," and then parentheses confidence. So it was something about like, it went like, I'm going to muster up every strength of confidence I have, for you I will, and then but anyways, it was a song that was actually on the radio. Again, not a huge, probably not in the top 10 or whatever, but
sure.
Leanne Rimes was on the show, Ben Folds, James Blunt, Paul Schaefer from David Letterman. So they had all these like little, and then it just went poof. It was gone. So I don't know why that just randomly came up in my mind when I read this, because I haven't thought about the show in a long time, but it was one where I just love the connection of the music industry and this agent trying to go. He basically the theme song, as I mentioned, by Teddy Geiger. He was a character in the show too. So he had a different name in the show, but that Tom Cavanaugh, which I think he was on the show Ed, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm trying my best to picture him, but I'll have to look it up. It's no big deal, and I'm not going to hammer away on my keyboard right now and screw up our audio. So that's all good.
I love that you mentioned that. So who was typing that episode?
I know, right? You know what? I have my phone in front of me, so while you're talking, I'm going to look this guy up. Yeah.
So you'll recognize him.
I bet.
With that, it was just that connection of the music industry, and how I love music, and that artist was on the show, and that Tom Cavanaugh's character was trying to sign him, the music executive. And so it was kind of cool how it was intertwined. It was like, he's this new artist who's actually up and coming in real life, who's playing an artist on the show who is up and coming. So
that's kind of cool. Yeah.
But the show's gone. And
that's kind of neat.
20 years later, I am apparently still holding a freaking grudge.
Well, the fact that you remembered it from 20 years ago is astonishing in and of itself. Like, no, that's wild. I learned something new. I'd never, ever heard of this. Some of the premise, clearly not all of it. Have you ever heard of the show Loudermilk?
So good. Good.
Yeah, just you're talking about like the music industry and whatnot. That reminds me, it's definitely an interesting comedy, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun one. Wow, Love Monkey. Okay, fascinating. I've never heard of that. Well, as I was perusing this thread, you have your usual suspects on there. I feel like every time I always see Firefly, it's like, I don't know, I don't know if it was like a sci-fi show or something like that, but I feel like every time these kind of threads come up, that always comes up. I'm like, ugh. And there were some other shows I'm like, oh, yeah, I was waiting to see one of these two come up. Mindhunter on Netflix and the OA. Those were the ones that I was most familiar with that I agreed with. Are you familiar with either show?
I loved Mindhunter.
Oh my God,
right? I
so
believe, if I'm not mistaken, because it's been a while since I watched it, but that was 2 seasons. Is that correct?
Yeah. They only did 2 seasons.
Okay. Yeah, great show. The OA, I recall going across my screen multiple times, and I never got into it. Actually, probably even watched an episode, but I am familiar with the show itself. I don't know anything about it, but I remember the show.
Oh, no, that's fine. I feel like we'd be doing a disservice if I don't at least give a plug to Mindhunter for our folks out there. It's 2 seasons. You're right. If you're a David Lynch fan, he directs the entire series, and it has David Lynch written all over it. It's awesome. It's all about like the burgeoning study of serial killers in the FBI and just the psychology behind that. If that is something that interests you, I definitely recommend you go and see this. But now, just as a heads up, there's only 2 seasons, and it is on these threads that say what has ended that you're still mad about. Take that with a grain of salt. But if you're willing to say, okay, I'm ready to be hurt again, as Michael Scott would say in The Office, then please do that. Honest to goodness, I did that. Once I knew, I was like, you know what? Everyone keeps talking about it. I'm going to watch it. I don't regret it. It was amazing. The OA. So the OA is super weird and incredibly trippy. And I don't honestly know if I can give a real synopsis that provides any true value to what that show is, because it's not sci-fi, it's not a drama, and it's not fantasy, but it's all of them smashed into a ball, and it works.
What is OA? Do they tell you, or is it just is it give away the show or something? Or
yeah, I can't say.
Sorry. Okay.
What I'll tell you is that the first episode, like the first 10 minutes of the episode, is that this woman appears on this bridge, like it'd be like the Golden Gate or something like that, not to that size, but like a large bridge, and she just kind of like materializes, not actually, but like just kind of like, whoa, there's a woman there. And she is someone that's been missing for like 20 some years, and she just miraculously appears. So there's all this conversation about what's going on, and there's another kind of tidbit is that she's blind. So it's not like she can tell you where she's been because she is blind. So it's really odd. Like, so that premise alone, you're like, okay. But I promise you it only gets weirder. The number one gripe I have ever heard from people about this show is either the fact that it is just like truly bizarre, or that there is a sequence involving Phyllis from The Office and a group of people doing interpretive dance. And I know what I just said. I know what I said. And I wish I could take it back, but it's the truth. And I promise, for those of you that are wildly curious, I can't recommend enough. You should just push through. Like, push through and watch it. It is wild. So this was canceled in the second season, much like Mindhunters, excuse me. The crummiest part is that the way the season ends is so mind-boggling, so bizarre, and the show does such an awesome job setting this whole thing up that you don't see it coming. And when it happens, you're just sitting there staring at the screen going, I've never seen or heard of anything even remotely like this being done on a show. Like, it is so crazy. And people were like clamoring for the third season. And Netflix is like, you know what? Nah. But hey, how about another sloppy serving of Love Island? How's that make you feel? Was that good?
You had me at intrigued and hooked until you said cliffhanger again. You know what? I'm going to add it to my list, and I probably will just watch it because now you've got me very curious.
Yeah.
But it's so disheartening when you put the effort into something and there's no, it doesn't come full circle. It doesn't give you like whether you liked the show or not, or the ending or not. But I am quite intrigued. So
yeah.
So I'm either gonna figure out the ending on my own and just pretend that I know what happened, or I'm gonna text you and say, Steve, you tell me what happened. You tell me what you think happened.
Oh, like what do I think should have happened in the show to conclude it?
We'll talk after. Yeah.
I think if there's anybody out there listening that has watched this show like I have, I don't think you can honestly answer that question.
Really?
Okay. So the show was canceled in 2019, 17, something like that. It was before COVID. I know that. Let's just say it was 2019, just to give ourselves some grace. That means it's been 7 years. That finale cliffhanger, whatever, lives rent free in my head, and it has. And I've only watched it once. And wow. I bet you I probably think about it, I don't know, once every couple of weeks. Something like that, like, God, what the hell happened? What would happen?
Amazing.
It's so crazy. It is outlandish. So anyway, I could talk all day about that. But the reason why I bring it up, the reason why I brought up this whole thing is, interestingly, both with Netflix shows, is because one of the users on this thread brought up an interesting factoid about the cancellation process of Netflix shows and kind of what goes into that. And what they disclosed was that it's really in how they accrue their data for viewership.
Okay.
So to kind of to try to simplify this as best I can, when Netflix releases a show, a brand new show, they base a very heavy weight on the amount of new viewers that the show brings in, or new subscribers.
Okay. Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean the show is good or bad. It just means that new people watched it. You kind of see what I mean? And
versus a total new viewership versus total viewers on the platform. That's
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you can have, let's say you have 10 million people that are subscribers to Netflix. I don't know. It's probably insanely more. I'm an idiot. Yeah. And you have 5 million of them watching the show, but they've already been subscribers, and you gain an additional 1 million new subscribers. So now you have 11 million. They look at that as well, we only gained 1 million. Nah.
Oh, well, okay.
See what I mean? Yeah. So that's when you get your Stranger Things that have these massive followings. They're oh, okay. And then they film it and they take 10 years to do it. And every actor,
literally,
every actor has a beard now, and they're playing 14-year-olds. Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is not on the actors. The actors did amazing. I don't want to get on that crazy note. But taking all of that into context, it's kind of interesting because Netflix really has created their own death knell for shows. And I kind of wrote it out for myself so I can make sure I go bing, 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 bing. So Netflix creates a show. And Netflix now has a reputation of canceling shows without providing some form of closure. So because of that, people are gun shy and think, I'm going to wait to see how many seasons they put out.
Sure.
And then if it's enough, 3 or something, then I'll start watching. Netflix sees that and goes, well, nobody wants to watch this show, so they cancel it. And then the people are like, well, good thing I didn't get invested in that show because you canceled it. And then Netflix replies with, well, I guess this is why people love Love Island. And they keep making fun of Love Island, but that show is trash. So I think everybody can agree with me on that. But it's something kind of interesting I thought about with that model is well, let's take the 2-season approach, right? Like Mindhunter was 2 seasons, the OA was 2 seasons. If you take that into the context of Stranger Things, and I'm saying that because it's such a cult phenomenon, like it was huge, right? To put this into context, if Netflix did the same thing with Stranger Things, we as a fan base or those watching it would have never been introduced to the character Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he's one of the most popular characters on the show. Like, so it's kind of wild to me. Like, they almost don't let things blossom and bloom because they're just so willing to smash and cancel right away.
You wonder why that is, because you've got, and I wonder how they look at the shows that they've acquired from other networks.
Yeah.
You know, how long they keep those? I know some of them are contract based and everything, but it's always like hey, you only got 2 more weeks to watch this show, and you're like,
yes,
crap, I do have time to binge this real quick, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but with Stranger Things, that's a great point. Awesome show. I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can be friends with someone who doesn't like the show. Whether or not you loved the ending or not, I digress there. But it was 10 years to like hammer out 5 seasons was. Now, to your point though, there's got to be a percentage of people that only subscribe to certain streaming services for like a show or a couple shows. So you had to have those people that dropped off and then come back on.
So
where I'm one of those that just lets the clock kind of run and forget it's in the background.
No, but I think you raise an interesting point in the fact that those individuals that will cancel the subscription and then, I know that season's coming out, and then they re-up, they kind of look at that as like, well, yes, you re-up, but you're a new viewer.
Yeah.
So in their eyes, they're like, well, we gained that person back again. It's a really odd approach. I mean, I understand it, but it's just so bizarre. And I think that's why you get so much of this like garbage-tainment on Netflix now, where it's all these like weird ass game shows, or like I'm going to make fun of Love Island for the 30th time, but like that kind of a show, it's self-contained. It's there's no cliffhangers because it's just a long form game show, right? Like it's who gets paired up with who and who's screwing who or whatever. Like, wow, great. And everyone's a ditz or a complete imbecile. And I know this because my wife watches it. And I hear it in the background and I feel dumber by the end of it. I'm like, oh God, this is the worst. But she likes it. She likes that. It's just
mindless
junk. Yeah, it's just junk TV, and no shame on that. If that's what you like, that's what you like. So what? Yeah, I just thought it was kind of fascinating to talk about this.
It's interesting the fact that you have certain shows, and maybe it's the writing, maybe it's the direction where the producer's not sure where they want to go, but you have those seasons where there's succession, like coming not the show Succession, in succession of coming back like year after year after year. But you have the Stranger Things, again, that was more of the gap. I saw a show and I was watching it during the holidays because it's a show to watch around Christmas. It's called
Perfect.
I think it's called Home for Christmas, but it's a Norwegian show which with Norwegian subtitles, and
interesting.
It's like a mini series where each season's like 6 to 8 episodes, right? But the show it's kind of it's a rom-com essentially. So it follows around this woman who each season, I think they had 3 seasons if I'm not mistaken, but it came out in like 2019, 2020 maybe, and each season starts in December, like December 1st, and then it goes throughout up until they get to Christmas. That's kind of the whole idea of it. And basically this woman is trying to find love. She's got her parents, her friends, and all like their lives intertwined, right?
Yeah.
Though the show had if I'm getting this right, the show had 2 seasons, then it was like done back like 5 years ago. Okay. And then all of a sudden, December 2025, I turn my Netflix on, and there's bam, new season. Like
What?
they just shot. I think they decided to bring it back. They shot the character ahead 5 years, so now she's 36 and not 30 or 31. But
interesting.
Yeah, and it keeps just continuing. You get the same characters, and so that just kind of got me thinking about how shows sometimes come and go, or like we were mentioning, like with Love Monkey, it's dropped on one network with like Loudermilk. Loudermilk started at some random
it was a weird
TV station, and then Netflix picked it up, and they had an extra season, if I'm not mistaken.
That does sound accurate.
So
they did that with Arrested Development too.
Yeah,
where it was the first 3 seasons. We don't really talk too much about the other 2 seasons, but the fact is that it was this critically acclaimed show, and then it was canceled for like ridiculous internal political reasons. And Netflix like, will buy that and produce the additional 2 more seasons, which
Family Guy.
Perfect example.
Fox, Fox for like a season or 2.
Yeah, it sounds right. It was not many.
And
Adult
then it
Swim,
got
Cartoon Network.
Cult classic on Adult Swim goes back to Fox, and I remember this first episode. I haven't watched a new season of Family Guy in such a long time, but I remember when it was popular, and I was probably college age or whatever, maybe a little after. The first season they went back on Fox. The first episode, they had a little segment where Peter goes off on a tangent of all the shows that Fox had put on the air and that had been canceled since they had left the air like a few seasons prior. It was like just a little,
that's awesome.
Seth MacFarlane going like sticking the knife right in him, like, hey, good call on not giving us our, season 3 or whatever it was.
Oh, God, I love that. But, that raises a really interesting point. Like this idea that, especially with like the way social media is now, and people can kind of rally around like hashtags and whatnot. Like I remember like for the OA, there was one, I can't remember what the hashtag was. It was like bring back the OA or something like people were mad about this. Now it didn't have nearly the following as say like a Family Guy or something, but people like were voicing their frustration with this. And you kind of talking about how there's this ability to possibly like get these things back. And I promise you, this is why I said this is going to be a wild ride, folks. Thinking about all of that, like thinking about like how Netflix will cancel things like that because they don't see like this return on investment fast enough. Genuinely, this is how big of a nerd I am. I was like, man, I wonder like how many times companies do that, right? Like they'll start some initiative and they don't give enough time to work. They're like, why isn't everything fixed yet? So then they cancel it. And it's like everybody gets this whiplash of like, well, okay, are we doing this or are we not doing this? What's happening? And just kind of an odd way that kind of goes about. And sometimes it just takes the employees of that place to be like, why are we not doing that? Like that was working. Well, we didn't see it fast enough. Like, well, did you think like, I don't know, maybe give it a little time? Like just putting it out there. Like, my God, I don't know. Like I said, super random. And it was one of those things that kind of just jumped at me as I was going through this thread. Like, what do you think of that? Like, is that valid?
I think so. And, I'm kind of jumping on the spot here without time to kind of think about this actually in my own work experience. And I'd like to hear yours if you have perhaps you have an example of this happening. With me, I want to share something that, again, it's kind of going the polar opposite here of what your question is. So I can think about a time that employees did speak up and management heard. So kind of the like the hashtag, like bring us our show back, right? Yeah. So there was I worked in manufacturing, and the management put out a survey wanting to get the overall feeling of how things were going in the plant. And I will tell you, folks, if you're not used to how manufacturing works in not all plants, but in a handful of them, the employees that I was training were they were the front line. They were on the shop floor. They were packaging operators. They were taking parts off the press, throwing them in a bag, sealing the bag up, throw them in a box, throwing more in a box, taping the box, putting on the crate, and then just doing that over and over and over again for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
How that was troubling was this. And this was a mandatory overtime work. So how that worked was I worked with temp to hire positions. I think I've said that before here on the show. After 90 days, they were hired on if they showed up to work and had, got all the checks that they could handle the job. But there was a sense of, for all of us that were office staff, there was a sense of empathy for these employees, because how they worked is they worked Monday through Friday, but then like typical, but they had mandatory alternating weekends. So how I would explain that, Steve, is say, okay, today's Monday, you got to work till Friday. Okay. But now it's your weekend to work. So now you work Saturday and Sunday. And then guess what? It's Monday again. So it was 12 on, 2 off. The company,
brutal.
Yes. Now they weren't paid very well. So what the cool thing, the nice thing for that was that they were always getting overtime because every paycheck was like a bonus, right? But I know. But here's the thing: the organization wasn't going to change that. We were making 15 million parts a day across 3 shifts, so they had to have people there a lot. What these employees did is they said, hey, since we're here coming through this door so many times, we would love to get a little bit of time back in our individual day. And so what that looked like, Steve, is that they would generally work an 8-hour shift, right? But they were given a half-hour unpaid lunch. So it was an 8.5-hour day with a half-hour unpaid lunch. So they said, hey, can we have an 8-hour day? So what the organization did, sure. So they gave them a half-hour paid lunch, and then it was only an 8-hour day.
What the hell? Yeah.
That's in a Monday through Friday week. That's 2.5 hours back of your life. Like that adds up quickly. And they were so appreciative of it. They all said, this is what we'd like to change. And it was cool, at least, that management said, you know what? We can do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I guess ultimately it just kind of comes down to that groups, how do I say this? If groups align their message appropriately, if the company's worth their salt, I should probably also kind of add as a caveat, but if you align your message appropriately, people do listen. Like, that is the truth. And an organization that is expecting like ridiculous return on investment on like such very tiny timetables is not long for this world. That's just the truth. You asked earlier if I was aware of a program or something like that started and then was scrapped immediately because it didn't like instantly fix the world. Very much so. Yeah. I can speak on deliberately about something in this where I was doing training like for soft skills. Okay. And one of them was you just like effective communication and whatnot. Yeah. And I made it a point. I'm laughing because it's so dumb. I made it a point to establish an understanding with everybody. And I'd said, like, you are now, because it was like 6 or 7 classes worth of things. And I started off by saying, you're starting on a journey of change, and that takes time. Mm-hmm. And I genuinely don't remember where I heard this or if I read it or something like that. But interestingly, I have found it to be true. And that is that true cultural change in an organization takes roughly 3 years. Your first year is you trying to establish new norms. The second year is the company kind of adopting said new norms. And the third year is just kind of plugging the holes where you need to, because everybody's starting to kind of come into that new culture. And I'm like, okay. So I mentioned this. I'm like, a real real cultural change takes roughly about 3 years. So that means all of these skills I'm going to teach you, you're going to need to train on them and develop them over these 3 years. And afterward, I was doing something at my desk, I remember, and my manager was like, I need to talk to you. Sure, sounds great. And she's like, how did the training go? I'm like, I thought it went really well. I had a lot of great questions. I kind of talked about all these different features. And I was talking, and in the middle, she goes, oh, no, okay, I'm just going to stop you right there. Why did you tell them that they don't need to worry or like learn any of this stuff for 3 years? I was like, I'm sorry, what? She says, yeah. Some of them came in and said that you told them they didn't have to worry about learning any of this stuff for 3 years. I'm like, boy, they were not listening. I don't know what else to tell you on that one. And I explained my sentiment, and the response was, we're actually just going to shut this down.
Oh my God.
They shut the whole thing down. I thought, oh, okay, cool. All right. Oh, I'm glad I put all that effort and energy.
Should I come back in 3 years? I can teach them in 3 years if you want.
I'm happy I'm not with said organization anymore, because that was very interesting. But yeah, I have a feeling that unfortunately happens probably more often than we realize. And I think as our listeners, whether you are yourself in learning and development or you work at an organization and you're like, oh, I like this initiative. If you feel like it's falling off, say something. Please say something. Say something to your manager. Say something to any form of executive leadership if you have that capability. Sometimes a little email just saying like, we like this. Please continue this. And if they can, they should. And if they can't, they should at least provide a reason why, because you are at work for roughly 40 hours, if not more, a week. And depending, that is more time than you are with your family or your spouse or your friends. Like, it's 5 days out of the week, or in the case of the place you were just at or were at previously, 12 days. Like, that's madness. You should at least be able to enjoy some programs that benefit you or you find interesting. So speak up, like say something. Yeah. Okay, that's where I get off on my soapbox.
Steve, do you know a program that would never pull the plug on us?
Oh, boy. I believe it's called the Spinnerooski.
You got it, man.
It is, in fact, the Spinnerooski, my man. So I tell you what, Patrick, while you're readying that fancy wheel, I'm going to explain to all of our lovely listeners what the Spinnerooski is. If you're new or if you're returning, it's just a nice little recap. Each episode, we take a moment and spin the Spinnerooski. That is a wheel with a host of names that could potentially be associated with the unknown woman that gave Patrick and I the greatest gift of all, and that is the Ugly Club. And if you're unfamiliar with that, I highly recommend going back to listening to episode 1, where we talk all about her. And with that, Patrick, you want to spin that wheel?
3, 2, 1.
Boom!
Maya.
No way, really?
That's a great name.
I work with a Maya, and she's wonderful. My goodness, Maya! Thank you so much. Thank you for living rent-free in our heads for like 20 some odd years. Thank you for making us have lower self-esteem. And thank you for letting our skills match our faces. You're amazing, and we appreciate you. Oh, Maya, that's wonderful.
That is amazing.
Treat. Thank
Maya,
you for that, Patrick. I like
appreciate Maya. We are in debt to you for ever.
Ever. Should we close this puppy out, my good sir?
Let's do it. So that about does it for this riveting episode of Netflix on the couch. Right. And we want to thank... Oh, please.
I was going to say, listeners, I feel like I need to point out. Do you know there's one thing we didn't talk about today? LinkedIn. You're welcome. All right, without further ado, I am so sorry, Mr. Patrick, for interrupting you for that important message.
I want to thank everyone out in the listener land for joining us on this episode of Grossly Competent Reddit Netflix special. If you like what you're hearing and want to support the show, here are some ways you can do so.
You can subscribe, follow, and give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. You can visit us on Buzzsprout at grosslycompetent.buzzsprout.com. Here you can become an active supporter, join the gang, listen to all the shows, and if you'd love to donate, we'd love you because every cent counts and is wildly appreciated. You can give us a shout on Instagram at our handle at grosslycompetent. You can email us, if you're a boomer like that, at grosslycompetent@gmail.com. But what we would love, nothing more than, honest to goodness, is if you would please tell your friends, family, coworkers, or that super awesome learning and development dude or gal at your company all about this podcast.
We appreciate all of you so much. Any form of support you can provide means the world to us. This truly is a labor of love, and we sincerely love bringing it to you each and every week.
You know what? We do. Do you have a shout out you'd like to give, good sir?
I would love to.
I actually don't this week.
Oh, well, I'm going to shout out our friend Joe once again. Particularly, other than his silver foxness.
Oh my god!
I reached out to Joe this week, and I know he's probably not an avid listener yet.
Kind of like my wife.
Yeah. So I reached out to him and said, "Hey, just to FYI, I brought you up on the podcast this past week, and I shared the story of what's his nut." And he was like, "That's great." He had a good laugh about it, and he then said, "Don't forget about what's her nut." And I said, "Oh, I thought we were going with something else." And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's not like this was my idea." So I want to apologize for Joe for perhaps misremembering exactly the female version. It wasn't maybe just what's her face. It could have been what's her nut.
Okay. Well, that's either way. Thank you.
What a great segue.
No, Joe, I know you're not listening to this, but we do appreciate you pretending to listen. It just that means the world to us. And I do happen to know that we have had some new listeners. I don't know if they maybe stumbled on us on accident. So I'm going to give them a little time to marinate. And if they come back next week, I will make sure that we give shout outs to them as well. But with that, man, I think that about wraps us up. What do you think, bud?
You got it.
Cool. All right. Folks, that's it for this episode. We love you. We appreciate you. Unbelievable uggos out there. And I guess we'll see you next time. Ugly. Ow. We are so good at that.
The emphasizing at the end, that's like, got him good. What's her nut? That's a good one.
It is such a good one.
Sorry, Joe. What's her nut? What's his nut?
What's her nut? And I also saw what's her tit?
I wasn't going to say that one.
No? You didn't want to get the E? You didn't want to get the Apple E?